Hello everybody, I hope you've had a lovely Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody for the coming New Year. Where am I today, do you think? That's right, I'm on my new allotment plot. So back in October I had an email to see if I still wanted this plot, because I put my name down for this plot, well not this plot, but you know, a plot on this allotment about a year ago, and I didn't think I was going to get one, and then I had an email to say, would you like an allotment plot? And I came down to have a look around, and I decided yes, I really did want to have an allotment plot. So I'm going to bring all my growing back down to an allotment rather than grow in the garden. I will grow some things in the garden, but we'll go through that in a future video. And this is the first time I've been back to the plot since I came to have the original look around, and there's quite a lot of work to do, but let me show you around my new plot. This is it from the gate, and it's down to that shed there, you know, just behind that shed, and then the other shed belongs to the plot just behind mine. So it's called 11A. The gate rather, is a bit broke, so I'll need to fix that. And then if I just do a panning shot of around the allotment, this is what it's looking like. And in this corner over here I've got a standpipe, which is great. So I won't need to worry about watering or gathering enough water to last through the summer, because I think they would rather me use the tap here, because I'm looking around at other plots and there's hardly any plots that have water facilities, like an IBC or water butt, that's the word, water butt. So yes, I think they prefer me to use the mains water. And then there's an awful lot of grass here at the moment, which is overgrown, but it does look like there's just grass essentially. It doesn't look like there's, you know, perennial weeds in here. This might be too early to say, I'm not sure. I've got a wheelbarrow here. This isn't my wheelbarrow, but when I spoke to the lady about taking on the plot, and I asked her about the shed, because I wanted to buy the shed off the person who had the shed before me, she said that the person who had the plot needed to be off the plot by the end of October, and anything that is left on the plot is now mine. So I assume the wheelbarrow is mine and the shed is mine. So just up from the wheelbarrow is a bench. In the corner there are some pallets, and then I think these are just nettles by the look of them. I don't think they're any fruit or anything like that. It looks like nettles. So the shed at the moment has got a lock on it, so I'll need to break this lock off, and then we can have a look inside the shed, but I probably won't do that today because it's getting a bit dark already. So I think my plot ends roughly here, where these weeds are. I'm not sure if anybody is working this plot. It doesn't look like anybody's working this plot, but I know it's not available at the moment because I asked, and that is their shed. So I suppose in theory my allotment comes to about here, and then just behind these nettles here, these overgrown nettles, I already have compost heaps. So I'm really pleased to already have compost heaps there. They're just made out of pallet wood, and I probably will need to put a top on and doors on, because it doesn't look like they've got those. There is a pallet just on the floor below my feet, so whoever had it probably just used to prop the pallet up against it. But yes, I don't need to make any compost heaps. So I can just start strimming and removing the nettles that are in front of the compost heap, and then I can use the compost heap. And then just down from the compost heap are 2 rhubarb crowns, which is great. I'm going to leave them there. I have got rhubarb growing at home, as most of you probably already know, and if you don't, then the rhubarb I've got growing at home will stay at home, because I'm not digging that up at the moment, and the 2 crowns here should be plenty with what I've got at home, so that's great. And then it's just more grass that needs trimming, really. And there's my car by the gate. So the first thing I need to do today is to measure my plot, so then when I'm at home in the cold, dark nights, I can set out a plan of where I'm going to put my beds and everything. So I've got this digital measuring tape, and I will just measure up to the shed, and I've already measured the shed, which is 1.2 meters long, so I'll just add the 2 together, because with these you need a flat surface for that to register, so I'll do it from one side of the plot to the shed. This post here is a little bit on the wonk, but it'll be good enough for me to have rough measurements of the size of the plot. (13.36 meters). So that is reading 13.36 meters. So add 1 meter 20 on, so that's 14 meters 80. So almost 15 meters. Let's say 15 meters. And we'll do the other sides now. And this way, I'll go from one fence post to the other, hopefully. Right. 8.78, so 8.8 meters across. Right, so the first job I'm going to do is to clear away these nettles in front of the compost heap, and I want to dig out the roots because I don't want them growing back here, and then I can get to this compost heap, and when I bring the strimmer down and strim, I can then put the strimming bits into the compost heap, and we'll have a working compost heap. So that's what I need to do first, but I'm losing the light, so we'll have to come back another day and do that. But I have been up to some jobs at home, so let's have a look at what I've been up to there. Well, what have I been up to at home? Well, one thing I've been up to is making this delicious spinach, leek and olive soup, which was absolute, well, I haven't actually tried it yet. I tried a little bit, obviously, when I was tasting it for salt and pepper, but I'll give it a try in a minute. But I'll show you how I made it. I sauteed some leeks in a pan for about 5 minutes in some extra virgin olive oil. Then I added the olives, some haricot beans, basil and rosemary. Left them to saute for a further 5 minutes. Then I added boiling water and stock cube, the spinach, and I left them to simmer for about 3 to 4 minutes until the spinach was cooked and the haricot beans were soft. Then I blitzed it all up, added some feta and hazelnuts. And here we are. Let's give this a try. I had quite a big blob of feta there, so all I could really taste was feta. Let me try the soup. Oh, that's really nice. That's really really tastes really good for you. You can taste the olives in it, and there's a slight tang of the lemon juice. I've got a bit of a cold at the moment, so I wanted something that was really full of vitamins and nutrients. So hopefully this will help with my cold. But while I eat this, I'll think of some other jobs that I need to do around the house, because there is quite a lot I need to do. So I've got to prick out my grow unit, which is just gone bonkers now. So I really need to sit down, thin out the plants to one plant. Hopefully the other plants I can pot on and grow on under my grow units. Speaking of the grow units, I've also got some seedlings under the grow unit that I also need to prick out and pot on. And my onions, well, I'm not very happy with the germination on these onions. By the time I put like 3 onions together, we won't have that many, but that's okay, because I have got some more that I need to sow. So bearing that in mind, I think probably the onions we got will be okay. But now I'm going to get on and finish this soup. And I sorted out my seedlings. So I separated a lot of the plants that were here, and these tiny little one here, I did plant Alyssum, but it didn't survive. So this has now got a basil plant there and a mustard plant there. And where's the last little seedling? Here is a little rocket plant. They're all ones that didn't actually survive the transportation, but the rest are doing really well, and I need to support these now. I need to find something to support them. But this tomato is doing well. This is the tomato that I had from the company Click and Grow, whereas the mini bell that I planted has grown massive, and I'll show you that now. And here are the seedlings all potted on. I'm growing these with the hope to grow them in my greenhouse come January, February time. Hopefully these will grow into bigger plants, and then they'll survive going outside. But these have only just been potted on, but they seem to be happy in their new homes. So there's those seedlings, and there's more seedlings down here. I haven't quite put on the last light yet, so we've still got a bit of room should I need them. These are the onions that I potted on, where I condensed, if I had one solo onion, I put 3 together in a pot, so it's condensed the onions down quite a bit, which is good. And I've got a couple of chili peppers on the go back here. And then that basil is transplanted from the Click and Grow unit I just showed you, as are this coriander here. I just couldn't separate the plants themselves. The roots had grown too much into themselves, so I've just potted on all 4 or 5 plants into there, and 3 into there, I think. And then we've got a couple of strawberry plants here. These are new coriander plants from my seedlings, not from the Click and Grow unit. And then we've got this giant tomato plant, which I actually need to stake up, really. But then if I stake that up, it's a bit too away from the light, so I think it'll just have to flop, and we'll see how we get on. I've got another one back here, and another one there. And these were the mini bell ones, which I planted to see how they would do in the Click and Grow unit, but you can see they are too big for the Click and Grow unit. So I might end up buying more tomato seeds from the Click and Grow unit. Right, let's go outside and get on with something else. This is a job I should have got done ages ago, and it is to take up the dahlias that I want to take up. And these ones were sent to me by bulbs.co.uk, and they gave a fantastic display this year, so I'd really like to try and keep them and get another display of them for next year. And when I have kept dahlias in buckets in the past they haven't overwintered very well. So I'm just going to chop off the dead top, cut it up so that it rots down quicker in the compost, and then dig it up. And I've got about 4 of them to do. They're all different kinds, gave out different colours this year, which were absolutely gorgeous to look at. And it really did sort of reaffirm sort of like flowers for me, because I'm always all about the veg growing, but veg didn't grow that well this year. So the flowers giving that colour in the garden was actually really good. So I don't know how easy this will come out. Oh, there we are, it's coming. Right. I just want to get as much of the compost off as possible, and I'm going to leave them, the tubers, in my front greenhouse so that it dries, and then I can knock off the remaining compost, and then I'm going to keep it. I'll either wrap it up in some newspaper or I'll keep it in some dry compost throughout the winter and plant it again in the spring. I also need to tidy up these pots here. I've got more dahlias here to take out, and I've got these beans to clear away. And I've also got the harvest for Christmas to do. So we've got some sprouts and some swedes and some parsnips and carrots around the garden. So, and some broccoli in the front garden. So let me show you the other jobs, and then we'll get a montage on the go. So if we just walk down the garden, we can see that I've got some borage plants here that need taken away, and I've got all the dahlias here that I just need to snip off the dead foliage, because I leave these in the ground. These have overwintered here fine for the last 4 years or so, but I do need to put down a bit of extra compost here because the root is exposed there, or the tuber rather, and that's because my chickens have been free ranging, but at the moment they're in their coop because we've got a flock down in our area. So I also need to remove these here, just these old remains of the bamboo canes and foliage. And a major job that I need to do is to tidy up my greenhouse again. But I need to clear away all the old tomato plants and peppers. Let's have a look in there now. So it's all looking a bit of a mess in here. I've still got the pepper plants that I haven't taken away, and some tomato plants, some chilies which might be okay. Oh, my chickens have been in here as well, so there's compost everywhere. And yeah, let's just have a look at these chilies. I think some of them will be alright, so I do need to harvest them. Got some good ones here. There's a couple more down there. So I've actually got a lot to do, so let's make a start. So I begin the grand tidy up by removing the dahlias and chopping them up like I did before. Then I've removed the bamboo canes, and I'm wrestling with getting the old beans off this cane. Then I try to get more compost off the dahlias that I've already dug up, and I move on to removing the borage, which is actually quite tricky. It proves quite hard to get that out, but I did persevere and get the whole root out in the end. Then I've moved on to the dahlias in my flower bed and removed them so that that's looking tidier. And I cover the root that was exposed with old used compost from a pot. And here it is. There's the area looking much tidier now. I do need to sort out those pots on the upper level, but that area is tidy. And then I move on to inside the greenhouse, where I'm sweeping up as those chickens made such a mess, and I'm putting it back in the bed. And then I'm removing the last of the tomato plants, which I thought were going to be really icky to touch, but actually they weren't too bad. So that's all right. But I'm making a bit of a mess of removing them there. And then I'm baling up the twine I use, ready to use next year. And finally, I am removing these pepper plants, which I have wanted to do for ages and ages and just not got around to doing them. So I'm taking all the tops off, and some of them did still have red peppers and yellow peppers, which looked okay, but because they'd been in the greenhouse for so long, I didn't really fancy eating them. I'm just removing the tops off everything and clearing away the mess. And then I'm removing this pot, which has got loads of roots coming out of the bottom, and I'm going to sieve off the compost that's here, and then rescue the fabric that's got the roots attached and clean that up. Then I move on to harvesting the Christmas dinner. So I've removed the swede leaves, and then I'm harvesting my sprouts. These are definitely sprouts, Bethan. Here are the Swedes. It's as if it was on cue, isn't it? Quite pleased with the size of this Swede. These are better Swedes than I normally grow, so I was happy with them. Moving on to the carrots. There's not many carrots left now to harvest, not many big ones anyway. So I think I've got most of the big ones out on this turn, and next time it will be tiny little tiddlers that we are getting out. The parsnips, it's a bit like hunt the parsnips really. The chickens have got in here and eaten all the foliage, so I'm not really sure where the parsnips are anymore. And then I've got the tiddly little celeriac, which didn't grow very well for me this year at all. They normally do. I normally grow celeriac the size of the Swede, and the Swede the size of the celeriac. But this year it's been the other way round. Who knows? Maybe next year they'll both be ginormous. But probably they'll most likely both be like golf balls, wouldn't they? But here are 3 celeriac anyway, ready for my lunch. And finally, I'm harvesting the broccoli, which has gone over a little bit because it's beginning to flower, but it will still taste good. And we will have this for Christmas Day or for Boxing Day. But we can use it in stir fries and things after the event anyway. So here is Christmas dinner sorted out. We've got a Swede, some lovely looking sprouts, some decent sized carrots, 3 tiddly celeriac, but they will go a long way. Quite a few parsnips, skinny-ish, but still enough on them as well for honey roasted parsnips, and some broccoli that started to flower, but it'll still taste great. Well, I've got my harvest done for Christmas Day. Really happy with that. Let's go and see how far I got in the greenhouse with all the tidying up I was doing. Well, this is as far as I got with taking apart my quad grows and everything. I started emptying out the compost. I've got the reservoirs that need to be emptied out as well, but I'm tired, and this greenhouse needs a really good clean. The windows are all absolutely minging, so I'm going to come back another day and, just solely work on the greenhouse. I was hoping to get back down to the allotment to make a start on those nettles, but again, time has gone against me, so we'll do that in the next video, and I'll just see how far I get with this greenhouse when I feel like doing it, because it's not always a job you feel like doing it. And if you don't feel like gardening, then don't garden, because you won't do a very good job, and if you don't do a good job, there's no point in doing it, is there? That is my philosophy. That is it for me for today. I hope you all had a lovely Christmas. Happy New Year, everybody, and lovely job.